What's up, guys? It's me again, the me you don't know, but that shouldn't matter for you to enjoy good stories. So let's get on with the show now, shall we? So we start our story off with a bit of an explanation, I suppose. So in this one, this will be a world of vampires and werewolves. And as you can see from the title and the picture, you can see what deku is going to be. And so, guess I should explain more. So, the vampires and werewolves, they've been in existence for a very long time, way before quirks became a thing. And and see the way things work out. There was never that many vampires, but they overpowered the wolves quite a bit. But the vampires don't always get along with each other, so they're normally working alone. And when one vampire goes up against a pack of wolves, mind you, these wolves are like they're not that much weaker than vampires, but vampire. Let's see if I can explain this. So a pure vampire would be able to take on about 100 werewolves at once. But a half vampire or half breed or whatever you want to call it would struggle with that many. They'd be able to take about 20 or so. And the werewolf packs get much bigger than just 100 werewolves. So even if you're a pure vampire, they usually would like steer clear of the werewolves because they've got their strength in numbers, and the vampires they've got their immense strength, and obviously their strengths and weaknesses vary, especially when quirks come into play when that gets introduced to them. And anyways, the vampires and werewolves they tend to stay away from each other because they don't really like conflict with each other. A lot of unnecessary death. And they all live uh, very long lives. Okay. And the vampires have established their own like council with each other, like peace treaties between themselves. And the werewolves, they kinda done that, but not really. Like they have their territory, and if another pack or vampire enters that territory and cause a ruckus, and you got a fight on your hands. And so, and the thing is, werewolves they kind of when quirks became a thing, they kind of didn't really like quirks. They're old school. They think quirks would make them weaker, and like they figure like you'd spend too much time trying to train your quirk when you should be training your body. Oh, and another thing I should mention: the werewolves, they do have this human-like form, as you see. Deku has his ears and tails. They do have a human form, but they spend most of their time in their wolf form. So that's how they usually stay hidden because um, humans know to stay away from wolves, and Well, yeah, that's basically how they've remained hidden. Meanwhile, the vampires basically are like mingling with the humans. Like the humans know that vampires exist because some of them do go on a feeding frenzy and cause a bunch of havoc. But, they end up pretty much getting hunted. And since the vampires don't really like each other that much, the pure vampire population continues to dwindle. And it doesn't really increase at all. Because you can only get a pure vampire from two pure vampires. And so, yeah. And most of them tend to uh, get intertwined with the humans. And so they make half vampires. And you can't make a pure vampire from a half one. Even if a pure vampire were to mate with a half vampire, they still wouldn't become a pure vampire. So, yeah. Anyways, I think I've explained enough, right? Let's get on with our story. So, we start off with hmm, where to start off? Oh, I know. We start off with a bit of conflict between two werewolf packs, as this involves Inko. This is this is Inko, as um, she's a young pup. I guess at the moment. Well, not really. She'd be like in her teenage years, but like in her wolf form. So, and there's these two wolf packs like fighting for this one territory because some humans came and like took over the forest. This being the wild pussycats came and drove out this pack of wolves, and so this these wolves are now searching for a new territory to to occupy. Yeah. And so like that's when they ran into Inko's pack, which well, it's not her pack, that she's a part of this pack. And they've been there for quite a long time, and then suddenly is just a war zone. As these wolves came in not looking for a compromise. They just came in and started attacking, and they pretty much just tried to take over the area. And well, a lot of wolves died, with both sides um, ending up with reduced numbers. Like half of each of their pack has just been um, slaughtered, and they're still fighting, but there's um, um, it's like a little break, or sort of say, as they don't know whether to retreat or continue fighting or talk or whatever, and that's when in between like they're bickering, as it's when Inko discovers that she has a quirk, and she like I don't know what to make her quirk be exactly, but some way somehow she lowers their numbers quite a bit, before the fighting continued. And actually, the fighting doesn't continue after that because remember what I said about them not liking quirks? Well, Inko just used this quirk, and all attention is on her now. Because what she did may have been accidental, because she just discovered that she has one now. But she killed quite a few wolves, and like everyone's like staying away from her now. And long story short, these two packs like came together, and they saw that they have a common enemy now, and like basically kick her out the pack. So a lot of death for no reason. And the packs came together, so win-win? No, not really. So Inko, a little sad that she got kicked out of her clan. She's like doesn't understand why they hate quirks, and she doesn't understand why she has one now. Because honestly, they thought that only humans get those kind of powers, but they discovered that they're getting them now for some reason, and they're wondering if someone went out and made it with a human and came back with wolf pups that had quirks and kind of mixed in with the population. That's not what happened, but that's what they're thinking. Um, so Inko, she goes on a little journey by herself, and I guess I should mention that the more wolves in a pack, the stronger each individual wolf gets. So like each wolf that is like in a pack gets stronger just by being in a big pack. So you think you want someone as strong as Inko in your pack, but no. And by saying that by kicking Inko out, the pack was weakened a bit, and it was and Inko also been weakened because she doesn't have that them numbers. It's hard to explain really, but I hope you understand. So, without a pack, Inko is vulnerable, so she's looking to join another pack and hide her quirk if possible. And so this one night, well, Inko is sleeping in a under a tree. She's approached by three wolves, and one of them happens to be Hisashi, and Hisashi will also have a quirk, but his pack just doesn't know it. And the Hisashi is part of a scouting group, like they're scouting for food and things, and they're like patrolling the border between their territory, and so like that's how they find Inko. She's on like the border of their territory, and she sees that they see that she's alone, and like she's kind of injured because the way they kicked her out wasn't like they weren't being friendly. Let's just say that. And Inko wasn't fighting back because they were her friends, or at least she thought. But, so she got hurt. That's all I'm saying. So she's been walking around injured. They do have a healing factor, but it's not instant. So she will heal eventually. But as I said, it's going to take time. But so Hisashi thinks that it might still be on the safe side to give her a bit of a checkup, and she might be hungry when she wakes up. So they go find some nearby berries and and stuff like that, and they introduce themselves to her and whatnot. They question her why she's alone and everything. You know. And yeah. So, do I really need to explain what happens next? Inko, she joins their pack, and not much to say, except Hisashi and Inko, they made it, and and yeah, that's all I need to say, really. And so we skip a year to when Inko is like not just a year, a few years. I don't know. Let's just skip to when Izuku and his two sisters are born. Yeah, so Inko would give birth to triplets, um, and after they were born, everyone noticed that they had this mutation, kind of, their fur was green, and see, they weren't used to to wolves' quirks, to wolves' fur being green, and they're thinking these these pups have quirks or something. There's no reason for them to be green. As I didn't explain how any of these wolves, they're all gray and silver and white. And Izuku and his two sisters, they were born with green fur. And no one was expecting that. And so yeah, so this is what his sisters will look like. Anyways, where was I just now? Um, yeah. So, oh yeah. So again, there was conflict because they're thinking that these pups have quirks and they don't really like that, and they're trying to kick out three little pups. And Inko is all like, you're not finna kick out my babies just because they have green fur. I mean, look at them, how they're gonna survive out there on their own. And these wolves just don't care. But you know, Inko is not finna just toss out her babies because they might have a quirk, and she has one herself that no one knows about. I guess they she she's been there for a good couple of years to get to know everyone. I guess so, and she's kind of upset that they're treating her little children the same way that she was treated because she had a quirk. And so Inko is like these guys are just about ready to pounce on these pups, and Inko is like defending them. And let's say Hisashi was out scouting when Inko had gave birth, and like so he's not there at the moment. And so like there's this whole like conflict going on right now as Inko is getting like pretty much surrounded. And be and so I'm stuttering here. So when a few of these guys go to attack, they get like incinerated by Hisashi. And the thing about Hisashi's fire is that it's it's green flames. So if you need an explanation, there's your explanation. Like they're green because of his green flames. He doesn't know why his flames are green. They're just green. And ink goes like I don't know what. No, I didn't say what her quirk was. I don't know what her quirk will be. Because I want it to be something better than just some plain old telekinesis. But I don't know what to make it. Maybe you guys can help me. Um, is Hisashi like pretty much just incinerated a few of the wolves that had jumped out and towards Inko, as Hisashi got there just in the nick of time, as he's wondering like he's all like, oh, the did I miss the birth of my babies? And so Hisashi Inko's like, this is no time for jokes, dear. We have to get out of here. They're trying to kill them. And Hisashi's like, oh, I guess I did just use my quirk without realizing it too. And Inko's realizing that is, she's like, you have a quirk? Why didn't you tell me? And Hisashi's all like, I'm not trying to die out here all alone. And Inko's all like, well, that's why I was alone, honestly. And Hisashi and Inko realized that they were hiding their quirks from each other. And, you know, they had a slight laugh but had to get right back to seriousness. Because Hisashi did just kill a few of his pack defending his mate. But as Hisashi pretty much tells Inko to grab the kids and get out of here. And that's what she does. She grabs them and she bolts away. As Hisashi is left alone to fight. As he's pretty much just throwing fire everywhere and lighting like the whole forest on fire. As it's it's not too terribly far from where the wild pussycats made their little base camp, and so like, and yeah, that fire basically like caught their attention, and they're like making their way over there now. It'll take them a minute, cause I mean, it's kind of far, but you can see the smoke in the distance, and they're thinking it's not good to let a fire just burn out in the forest, even if it's not their part of the forest. So they're going to go and put out the fire before it like spreads to where they are, because you know how big wildfires can get and how far they can spread. Like, those things can cause massive damage. And so Hasashi kind of don't care right now. He's making obstacles for these wolves so they can't get to him. And so what ends up happening is Inko would get quite a bit away and set down her babies and like hide them in a bush or something, and like right under a tree, as they're pretty much like sleep. They have no idea what's going on, and like these are newborn pups, and yeah, why am I saying pups? They're cubs, right? Little wolf cubs. Nah, let's stick to pups. I like calling them pups. So, so let's let's see. Inko would return to Hasashi, and that that happens. Meanwhile, the what's happening in another part of the world, um, not too far away, would be a like, I don't know what to call it, stronghold. Yeah, stronghold seems like the right word. And it's like a place where vampires would have their little council meetings. It's like most of them live in the cities, but when it's time for council, they go back to where they used to hide from the humans and like have their meetings there. And this is one such time where they're having a meeting, but they see a fire in the distance, and their their conversation basically leads to what could possibly be going on right out there. And since I am terrible at conversations, I'm going to skip the little scene that these vampires argue about whether or not they should go and see what's going on, or just let let everything happen, because it could just be the wolves. There's no way to be sure. So eventually they send out a vampire to go see what's happening, but none of them really want to go, they ask for volunteers, and and the vampires are kind of lazy. They're more like observers. They like to watch from a distance, never really get involved with anything. As as they have their ways where they could just watch. What am I saying? Okay, I just lost my train of thought while trying to explain that. But eventually they send our favorite vampire from the last What If, Ava. They send Ava as she's making an appearance in this What If, as she she's she fits the bill perfectly. Okay, she looks like a vampire, and the power I gave her is basically vampiric. So um, guess I do have to explain it. If you guys didn't watch oh, the abandoned deku. What if that's the one, right? No, kidnapped. What if Deku was kidnapped? She makes an appearance in that one. So, oh, I've been meaning to delete my abandoned what if, as I've been planning to redo that. Basically, just um, well, it's technically a redo, but it'll be under a different name. But I've been planning to completely get rid of that what if. So I don't plan on continuing it at all. But anyways, I do plan on continuing my other what ifs though. I just haven't gotten around to doing any of them. Like, you know, and you guys don't request for any of them to be continued. So I don't really get around to doing it. I don't see a reason to. But I do plan on continuing them at some point. It's making me realize now that I left like all of them on cliffhangers. Like the water one. Um, yeah. I'm not gonna explain them now. But okay, back to the story. Sorry for that little distraction I just got on. Um, where was? Oh yeah, they sent Ava to check out what's going on in the forest, and as Ava like sighed and just said, "Very well. Give me a minute to prepare myself." As she does like take her time to get out there, as she decides not to use any of her special powers that she has being a vampire, and just decides to take a leisurely walk. As she's not in a rush to get over there. She's expecting to get there after the conflict has settled. As 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 soon as she like walked out of the little stronghold, she could hear shouting and yelling and growling and all that stuff. Cause she she has she has them ears. You know, she's able to hear pretty well and see pretty far. And she heard a loud commotion going on, so she's not in a rush to get over there. She's not. really trying to save anyone or interrupt what's going on, as she could tell that it is indeed the werewolves just by hearing it. And now, if you're wondering why they couldn't hear anything while in the stronghold, it's because they have like barriers to like keep out sound, cause that's like the only like one of the only locations where they can have some peace and quiet, cause they all have super sensitive ears. They can hear things from a distance. So so yes, their like monthly council meetings is like a way for them to like have some peace. As as Ava was there, it's like she's not one of the heads of the council. She's like one of the future heads, sort of say. She'll be like a successor to one of them. As as she was, she's like second in command of the of one of the current heads of of the council. When I mean heads, I mean like clan leaders. Like there's a bunch of like vampire clans, and this council is like a meeting of the main clans, and like you understand. There are some that aren't part of it, like aren't part of the little peace treaty, and it's the council's job to keep those kind of guys in check so they don't cause a ruckus or go on a rampage. You know, there are a few that still go on their little feeding frenzy, and God, it's been 37 minutes already. Um, I feel like I barely got into the story at all. So, so anyways, eventually Ava gets there with the conflict still going on. As it took her like a good hour to get there. So, and it's taking the wild pussycats even longer because they're trying to set up to put out the fire. They can't just run out there and like pour it and get rid of it. It takes some preparation. As they just think it's some random forest fire. They don't know that it's a whole like conflict because they don't have them kind of ears. Okay, and so um so Ava um, after getting in the area and getting a better view of the location, she noticed there's something shiny under a little tree, as and she just sees a green glow coming from it, and she's wondering what that is. And you all know it is. It's Izuku and his little sisters. As Izuku is the firstborn by a couple seconds, so he'll be the older brother in this situation. in this what if, at least. And I'll explain his his quirks and his sister's quirks later. And in part two, most likely. I don't see myself continuing this for very long. I meant to record this Friday, by the way, and it's Sunday. So, let's see. Or was Ava inspects the green glow and finds out these three green pups, and she's just curious on why they're green anyway, and she's thinking like it's some sort of new species of wolf or something, and she's thinking it might explain why there's a green fire going on, and she's thinking it might be one of these guys' quirks, and like the whole commotion is them trying to put out the fire. Like she's not really trying to think about it, but she is curious on why these pups are green. She doesn't see any none of the wolves out here trying to protect these pups, and she's wondering, hmm, since there's no wolves out here, were these guys abandoned, or is their mother dead? Perhaps. Hmm. As she goes to touch one of the wolves, that's when like Izuku he like remember they're newborn pups, but as soon as Ava tried to touch one of them, Izuku like like I don't know how to explain it. He like got up and just started growling, like 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 his eyes are still like closed, by the way, as he just like jumped up from his sleeping position and is facing towards Ava and is just like growling. And it's just Izuku's instincts like kicking in at such a such a young age, as his instincts to protect his sisters, as he sees that Ava is potential danger. She's a threat to them. As honestly, everything new to them is a threat. Because yeah, and Deku's still like sleep ish. Um, his instincts to protect his sisters is there. So you can tell what kind of person Izuku's gonna be just from this little interaction with Ava. As Ava kinda just like froze for a sec. Well, she didn't really freeze. She just stopped approaching them because she sees that Deku is hostile towards her, and she's wondering like, to be this spunky at such a young age, this one has potential. As she made up her mind to take these pups and raise them, pretty much. Well, not exactly raise them. She just has a interest in them and see what they'll do. And she just wants to be able to watch them, uh, and, and have a front row seat to what they'll do in the future. And so, despite Deku's instincts kicking in, he can't really do much. And so Ava pretty much like scoops them up. Well, not really. I say she used some sort of telekinetic ability to where she could just pick them up without touching them and have them just float in the air. And she could just walk off while just have these guys floating behind her. And so, yeah, she didn't really like look at the scene that was happening with that huge commotion. And yeah, that happens. And do I keep going or do I not? You know what? Nope. I'm gonna end it off here. So yeah, like if you like, subscribe if you wanna, comment down below if you enjoyed or not. And also, can you help me out with what Inko's quirk should be? Not that it'll be very important. I mean, I don't know when we'll see her again or if we'll even see her again. I mean, they could have died for all I know. I ain't really think that far. But I mean, yeah. I guess that right there is telling me to stop anyways, because I'm running out of storage space. So, yeah, good time to end it off, I say. Um, like if you like, subscribe if you want to, comment down below if you enjoyed or not. I said that already, but oh well. Bye.